Hey YouTube, what's up? Welcome back to the Practical Life. This is Ashley Nicole, and we are back today with another live. Good afternoon. I hope things are going well for you all today. Happy Wednesday. What's the weather like where you are, or why is that such a common question? Where I am is very gloomy today, so hopefully, and it's been raining and thundering and all of that. So hopefully my connection will stay good. I'm thinking that it will, but just in case, just so y'all know, don't think I didn't checked out is because of the weather. But today, again, we are back with another live. This channel is all about mental health. This is where you can get your questions answered for yourself or someone else. Or if you are trying to figure out how to manage your mental health in the workspace, I'm the person for you. All of the description or all of the information will be in the description box below. But today, I wanted to make sure, y'all, I was going to go live last night, but it was kind of late. So I said, I'll just wait till today. But y'all, what I tell y'all? What did I tell y'all? I said, Tim is, I wouldn't be surprised if he testified. Didn't I say that? Didn't I say that? I said, I will not be surprised because he got to be the star of the show. He has got to tell his side of the story. So I was definitely not surprised on day 6 of the James Timothy Norman trial that he got up on that stand and testified. So this video is just want to make sure that it's out there, that it's fair use. All of the information provided in this video has been obtained from news sources, and everything that I talk about is my opinion based on my personal experience, my expertise and experience in mental health as well. And this video is just giving my opinion based on what has happened with this trial thus far. So I know I told you all that I would come back probably at the end of the week to do like a week 2 recap. Hopefully this will be over by then. I'm thinking that we already, they're gonna get a verdict. Probably from what I hear, probably maybe today or even tomorrow, we'll know what the verdict is. But based on his testimony, I wanted to give my opinion based on what this man said. Now, y'all see the title of this video, right? Is there any doubt? And I told y'all in the last video, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if the verdict went the other way, y'all. I just wouldn't. Now, again, secondly, some housekeeping items. These types of videos kind of get a lot of engagement, right? So we want to make sure that we are respectful in the comments that you all leave. Each side of this family is going through a lot, and I just want to make sure that I acknowledge that. I think I not acknowledged it in my last video, but just again, these families are going through a lot. We want peace and healing for both sides of the family. So in the comments, y'all, please be mindful. Everybody, your opinion is welcome here. Everybody is welcomed here on this channel. But we just want to be mindful that we're not using certain words in our comments. And if you have to use certain words, you want to make sure, you misspell them. But don't be surprised if, you slipped up and typed the word out fully or whatever. Those comments may get deleted because, I just want to make sure that this channel is appropriate in the topics that we are talking about. So please keep that in mind. But going on to my opinion based on his testimony. So again, I told y'all I wouldn't be surprised if this man got on the stand. Why? Because again, Tim got to be the star of the show. But now y'all, I feel like y'all gonna be a little bit mad in this video because my opinion is probably not what some people think it might be, but we'll get into that. So I have my notes. Don't play. I also have my water today. I got water today, y'all. I ain't had no coffee today. I got my water. But I just want to start off by saying, we can't be fooled. Why? Because We can't be fooled, especially I feel like if you are a person that's from St. Louis, if you are a person that kind of grew up in a community, if you are a person in, if you are a black person, like you can't be fooled by what this man is saying. But what we're doing is that we're looking at it from a different point of view. And so I just want to get that out there. I'm looking at it from a different perspective because we can look at it from both sides, just like you have the defense and then you have the prosecution. You looking at it from both sides. To be honest, from both sides, I can see where if I'm a juror that doesn't know anything about what this man does, what show he's been on, who he is, or the whole situation, right? And I can't even imagine that because in St. Louis, it's been on the news and stuff like that, right? But if I'm a person that doesn't really know about what's going on, then I could probably say like there might be some doubt, but we'll get into that. So now, shout out to Randomness Avail. He is really putting in the work, okay? He is in St. Louis. He doesn't live in St. Louis, but he traveled to St. Louis to attend the trial in person just so he can give an account of what is going on minute by minute. So shout out to Randomness Avail for that. Some information I heard on his channel and some information I did research on my own and from news sources and things like that. So well, this is what we know. From 2007 through 2009, Tim and Andre were both living with Miss Robbie, right? And apparently, allegedly, the whole family agreed to have Andre come stay. When you say the whole family, you mean the immediate family, like maybe the aunts, Miss Robbie, Tim, everybody just kind of said, okay, he needs help. We're going to let him stay with us. Okay, so then another thing that we know is that apparently Tim was the script writer for this show. So you got to give props where props due because a lot of people were watching Welcome to Sweetie Pies. It got a lot of ratings and things like that. And so he was the one who wrote the script apparently. And I mean, that's talent. You got to give it to him to be writing scripts for shows. Jumping ahead a little bit, allegedly some of his other scripts and his plays that he wrote were stolen allegedly from Miss Robbie's home, right when all of this went down. So he is very talented in that sense to come up with, okay, who's going to be in this scene, what scene are we going to do today, coming up with kind of like these stories for the show per se. And he wrote allegedly Andre into a lot of the show's scripts or scenes, right? And so in turn, Andre got a lot of TV time from him doing that. So one could say, that okay, he was his because it seems like they're trying to paint a picture that he was this great uncle. He was trying to look out for him. He helped him, and really, y'all, it really looks like maybe in the beginning, that's what he was doing, trying to help him. Now, maybe he had some reservations about it because of the trouble that he was getting in, and maybe, and this is just my opinion and speculation, that Miss Robbie, being his grandmother, was like, "No, let's try to help him. Let's see or whatever," and she kind of talked him into doing that. That's just my opinion, speculation, right? My commentary about it. And so him being trying to be a great uncle and a mentor, right? He wrote him into more scenes. And I wonder if that was to try to keep him out of trouble, even if he hadn't gotten in trouble yet. It's like trying to be proactive. Like, you see that this could work. You see that we could, make something of ourselves from this, including you. So let me write you into the scenes, right? Now, after the show, Andre left, and then apparently he came back allegedly because Tim was saying that he had more time to help him. He wasn't writing scripts anymore. He wasn't as busy and things like that. Now, in one of my previous videos, I can't remember which one It was, but remember I told y'all that I knew for a fact that Tim was trying to help St. Louis youth, like youth that were getting in trouble and getting into different things, basically like the street life. He was trying to help them. He was like a mentor in different programs, trying to be a mentor to youth and stuff like that. So I know that for a fact, y'all. So this is the picture, right? Um, Now that could have been happening in the beginning. So that's why I come back to my original question of what what turned, like what happened to trigger this particular angst toward, allegedly angst toward his nephew, or is it some things and some questions we haven't asked y'all that we haven't taken into consideration? So here are some of the questions. Now this is again not either side. I'm just, my thoughts, I'm talking out loud. Don't come for me in no comments. Okay, so I want to know, because at some point we found out that Andre said somebody told him that Tim was after him, or Tim was you know didn't care for him, or out to get him or whatever. I would want to know who told Andre that, because I in my head I was thinking, okay, who told you that and what relationship do they have with the family? Because sometimes you can have somebody that's close to the family or outside of the family who has a jealous spirit, you know what I mean? Who sees this family coming up, see them doing good, overcoming hardships and things like that, and they get jealous, right? It appears to me also that their restaurant was a restaurant where they gave people second chances, right? And some people, even a lot of people, they take their second chance and opportunity, they run with it, they do something positive with it. But it's some people that still stuck. Like I told y'all, like Bishop, one foot out and one foot in. And they seeing all of this stuff happening, all this good stuff, all the glitz and the glamour and coming up and doing whatever they want to do and making money and stuff. And they start planting seeds. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all get what I'm saying. So I would want to know who told him that. Did they just feel that? Did he really feel that? Because they allegedly had some kind of letter or note or something that Andre gave Tim saying, thank you for all your help. Like, I see you trying to help me, and stuff like that. I need to basically like be more open and receptive to the help. And so I need to basically get myself together. I am, don't worry, like I'm gonna do it. But who was telling him this? My next question is, and this is just a little something random. Y'all, it's a 4-year waiting list to get in Nelly's school. I said, what? They trying to get in this school that dog, like that's a long time. And for you to be able to, like, you had to pull. If Andre was in that school, you had to pull some strings to get him in there. A 4-year waiting list. Y'all think about it. We're not talking about 4 months. We're not talking about 4 weeks. 4 years. Come on now. That's a whole high school career. Matriculating through high school. So he had to pull some strings to be able to get him into that school, y'all. Now, they also mentioned it allegedly Dre pawned a TV and a PlayStation. Now, I think they said that they had objected to that because they didn't want to give any information about that of Andre being a certain type of person, or on the other side, even Tim being a certain type of person. Let's just deal with the facts of what happened in this particular situation, right? But I saw a comment or somebody saying, well, where would he get a TV and a PlayStation from? Well, allegedly Tim still had a room in his mom's house. He might have had a TV and a PlayStation in there. I mean, who knows where he got it from? He could have got it from there. He could have got it from anywhere else. Maybe he had his own TV and PlayStation. Now, I also mentioned to y'all in my previous video about this whole insurance thing. One would maybe ask, well, why would an uncle get insurance on a nephew? I told y'all then, like, people have these questions, but you got to think deeper, right? Because again, what would they say if something happened to him and this family who apparently with all this money or whatever, they got shows on TV, uh, starting to GoFundMe for his funeral expenses or whatever, right? They gonna say then, well, they didn't even have insurance on them. So okay, so what do you want the people to do? Now, also, if you are an uncle, family member, whatever, and you call this kid's mom, this is your nephew. You call this kid's mom and say, I'm going to look after him. I'm going to make sure that he sees the right way to go. Give him different opportunity. Let him see like you can do this, right? If you call him right now and then you took out the insurance policy on him, to me it could be valid, especially if you saw that he was leading down a certain path, or especially if you from St. Louis and you know how St. Louis is and you saw the type of crowds maybe he was getting involved in, he was starting to get into some trouble, and then he also helped y'all in y'all business. If something happened, there's a possible financial loss. So it would maybe be questionable, but it wouldn't be outlandish, right? It wouldn't be unfathomable to get an insurance policies. However, the way that they all went down is questionable, right? Now allegedly Tim says he was a part of the first one, right? But the rest of them he wasn't a part of. So then that got me thinking, y'all, like, I feel like it's more, right? It's more. So now also let me know what y'all think in the chat. So also now, because and I bring up that insurance thing because the insurance dude, they finally found him, right? What is it? YL? I'm gonna say this man name right. YL. He was new to insurance. Allegedly, Tim said that he had to find him a real job because music had dried up or whatever, right? And then see y'all, and see, I'm probably thinking into it too much. I'm probably overthinking. I'm sure that I am, because that's sometimes what I do. Allegedly, and this is all if what Tim is saying is true, but you can see like it's not too far out there, y'all. Okay, why is this man? Okay, I get you got your favorite restaurant for Salisbury steak. But why are you going to this restaurant every week? Every week for years to get some Salisbury steak? Am I the only one that's like, I feel like that's who do that? I feel like that's a little odd to me. I feel like that is a little odd. You go to this restaurant every week, and I would want to know if it's on the same day, at the same around the same time, to get some Salisbury steak. At some point, because see, I'm observing y'all. Like at some point, I'll be like, see, this part of my problem. At some point, I'll be like, y'all ever see this man all the time? And and you supposedly popular in St. Louis. So ain't nobody really like recognize you like that. Like, how did they figure out that you was a music producer and stuff? Are you talking to people, or are people coming up to you because you're popular? I don't know. But I would, if I owned a restaurant and I seen this man come every week at the same time on the same day to get some Salisbury steak, girl, ain't nobody Salisbury steak that good. Nobody's. You staking out the place? What patterns you looking for? Who are you looking to see if certain people more involved than other? Like, I feel like that's the kind of vibe that I would get if somebody was doing it in my restaurant. Like, I appreciate the business, but I just feel like it's more to that for some other than just wanting to eat some Salisbury steak. but maybe Dave Salisbury State Fire. um, so yeah. So and being a new insurance agent though, if anybody know anything about that, like I've had some certain family members, like when you're looking for a job and stuff like that, you will see those recs out there for like, oh, make this much money in a week, and you be like, oh yeah, this is good. Then they have you come to the place and it's to sell insurance. So if you sign on, you gotta be hustling, right? You got to be hustling, trying to get people to sign up and sign on and get these policies and stuff like that. So it sounds like to me, it could be, this is only my opinion, it could be that YL was putting in them other policies because he's trying to make that money, that weekly cash flow, whatever, that commission or whatever for these insurance, because he knew, right? He's new. It's almost like that, and people around my age, they probably know what I'm talking about. I remember when I was in college, I came home for the summer and they were advertising, selling them, I forget what the brand name is, but selling them knives, them expensive knives and cutlery and stuff like that. And baby, they sell you a dream, honey. When you say, oh, you can sell this much and you can go here and there and you can go in these neighborhoods and you can talk to these kind of people and look at the connections you'll make and the networking you'll do. And you then got talked into selling some knives. And don't nobody want them knives. Ain't nobody finna buy them knives, child. You might get one or two people in your family to buy one of them sets. Other than that, those people wasn't buying them knives. So I feel like YL was in a position where he was trying to sell because he was a new agent. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's where the other policies came into place and trying to get him to sign and all this stuff. Who knows? Just me speculating. Now, also remember previously I talked about Travel and C2, y'all. Terica and some of my notes all over the place, but I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna bring it full circle for you. Terica might not be as, I don't even want to say the word. She might be smarter than we think. And I feel like she is. Because see, y'all people in my comments were saying, oh no, she got a ninth grade education. She didn't know this. Terica might not be book smart, but I bet she's street smart. Terica been in the streets. Terica is an exotic dancer. She knows something about the streets. So you can't tell me that Terica don't have some type of street smart. You see what I'm saying? So in that sense, she's smarter than you think. So, anywho, so now my other question is this: what is the relationship between Travel and Andre that nobody know about? Because they trying to paint the picture, and this is valid. Like when you look at the whole picture, like I feel like you can see both sides, but that's the job of the lawyers, right? Right? They trying to get you to look at it from unbiased opinion and things like that. But you do start to question, well, what was the relationship between Travel and Andre nobody you knew about? Now, remember, I told y'all Travel said that he was on ecstasy all day. And that's why I was trying to figure out with Travel. If that is the case, how were you able to go right to the place? You wasn't confused that day. Your head was on straight that day. I guess you ain't taking no ecstasy that day. Because you know where to be, when to be, who to call, what to do, and you didn't miss. So what was the relationship between them? Because they trying to paint the picture of maybe Travel had something in his mind to do something, right? Maybe he said, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'll meet him or whatever." But he had some. He felt like, okay, yeah, you're right. I remember he did this or we went through this or whatever, and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I don't know, but it's some contradictions to that, and I'll get to that too. But I will be as a juror. I would be wondering there, like, what is the relationship that they had? Did he know him? Did he not? Did he? Now, Travel said, remember, Travel was saying, allegedly he never spoke to Tim about Andre or about nobody to do that to anybody, right? Or did I miss something? And he said he didn't know him. Now Travell said he didn't know him, he just knew of him. Okay, so if that's the case, like, I mean, I guess if you're a street person, you wouldn't ask any questions because you want the money or whatever. But and I mean, I guess that could happen. Like if somebody asks you to do that and they give you whatever money, you would just do it. You don't care if you know them or not or whatever. But he said he didn't know him, he just knew of him. But Tim had a different story saying that they knew each other. Like, do y'all believe that? Do y'all believe that they did know each other? And if they did know each other, is did they have any issues with each other? Like any like street issues? You know what I'm saying? Was they messing with the same girl? Did they get involved in the rap stuff, drill rap? Did Andre make some kind of say some kind of subliminal in one of his raps or something? I would want to know, did Travell, was he involved in trying to be was he trying to be a rapper at some point? I don't know. Now, also, this is one of the contradictions. So Tim said all of that, but then he said, "Oh, it's a small world." I was putting them together so they could kind of like confront him about the stuff that was taken and stuff like that. But then too, this is where my questions come in, Tim. Why couldn't you do that on your own if you were his uncle, his mentor, trying to get him on the right track? You have been trying to find him. Like you've been trying to find him. You got the means to find him if you really wanted to find him. Didn't y'all allegedly say y'all hired a private investigator to figure out about the house? Well, y'all could have hired a private investor, that same one, to figure out where he was, and you could have went up to it. You his uncle. He wouldn't have been alarmed, would he? If you found him and you confronted him about the house, if that's what you saying you're gonna do, why you had to send Travell and Terica? That's the part I don't get. And then if it was, I just wanted them to basically confront them for me. Did Was that the case in Travell because he was so high? He pulled the, you know what, I ain't gonna say TRIGGER because he was high and it wasn't supposed to go like that. Like the plan was all messed up because of Travell. I don't know. Like these are just questions that I had in my head. Now, going to the jury. The jury, I can't imagine them not knowing anything about this. They may not know the details, but they at some point have heard about it. And they're not sequestered. So they going home in the evening and they're not seeing it on the news. I'm confused. Um, and the jury might not know, they might know a little bit also about Tim, right? Because they hear it or whatever on the news, whatever, but they don't know the details and intricacies of Travell and Andre. You know what I mean? Um, but the news, they telling a lot of information. So I just can't see them not knowing. Now these are some other things that I took note about. They paint the picture that, oh, Tim was good with money. He didn't need any money. He had this and that. He was fine. Okay. I don't get that because now maybe it's just me. This is just my opinion, y'all. If you good with money, and maybe this don't even have nothing to do with money, but I just feel like if you got some money, if you saying you rolling in the dough like that, how were you traveling every week to empty the safe? You was going back every Friday through Monday or Saturday through Monday to empty the safe, flying from LA to St. Louis every week. That tell me you still a small business. Like you're not rolling in the dough yet like that. Because you could have paid somebody to do that, right? Or why couldn't Miss Robbie do it every week? Why you the one every week gotta fly And maybe people do this, but I was confused about that. I was like, why are you flying every week to empty a safe and then you hop right back on the plane? Like, to me, that don't make no sense. To me, your business disorganized. It's no organization in the business, because you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to do that at that point. And he then said allegedly he was ghosting people after, I guess, he found out, because he was so distraught. Now, this could be considered this could be valid, because that's normal. Sometimes when people go through stuff, they're very emotional, they don't want to talk to nobody. We all know, especially when I talked about in my Lauren London video, when we talk about grief and stuff like that, people have good intentions, but what they're saying don't sit right with you. It's kind of like you don't want anyone feeling sorry for you. And then he also knows that he was, one of the people that was closest to him. So maybe, just my thoughts, in my opinion, he was thinking that people probably did think that he had something to do with it, because it appeared on TV that they didn't have the best relationship. But again, we only saw what was on TV, y'all. We did not see behind the scenes. And I also saw a comment of somebody asking, well, if he was trying to help the youth and stuff like that in STL, why didn't they show that on the show? Because people don't want to see that. People want to see the drama. People want to see drama. People don't want to see, they say that, but when the ratings come in, that's not what the ratings show. The ratings show that, just like when you look at Love and Hip Hop, when you look at what is the Basketball Wives, people want to see the drama. They want to see the fights. They want to see the people not getting along. All of this. And I always wonder, like, why is that? It's just like human nature, right? Of people looking at negative stuff, but then it also kind of, in a weird way, and I'm not saying that it's healthy, but it's just what happens, how people view things. It's kind of like, I'm in a bad situation, but these people in a worse situation. Like, at least I ain't in that situation. And it's kind of like they feel, and it's not right, y'all, but they feel better because they see somebody else going through something. Like, it's almost like I'm not the only one, right? So people don't want to see that. People do not want to see other people. The ratings probably wouldn't have been as high if that's all he was showing. Now, I agree that he probably could have showed a glimpse of it, of something, you know what I'm saying? But again, he was a script writer, and he wrote what he felt like people wanted to see, and was successful at it. But yeah, so ghosting people, when something like that happens, grief situation, you lose somebody, that is a normal reaction. Not answering the phone, because people, they'll say things like, oh, I'm so sorry this happened. People really don't know what to say. It's probably like awkward silence. It's kind of like he didn't want to talk, and that's normal. But you didn't call your mama? Because, baby, it seemed like him and his mama, Ace Boone Coons. You hear me? She told you it's to the death. Okay? Like, I don't know why you didn't call your mom. I don't know. Maybe you felt so distraught and felt so bad, like you didn't know what to say to your mom. Maybe. I don't know. But I just thought that's the only thing about that was weird to me, is that you didn't call your mom. Because it seems like Miss Robbie, as his mom, is always in his corner. She's always there to support him no matter what. And of course, moms and sons, they probably have had conversations that nobody know about, you know what I'm saying? And so why didn't you call your mom? That's the part that I didn't really get. So it's still like some questions there. What else I got here? Oh, and then he never reached out to Andre's mom. Especially, to me, if you were the one who called her, and said, I'm gonna help him out. I'm gonna be, the mentor uncle. I'm gonna show him a different way. I'm going to, show him like we can do this, like he can be a different person or whatever. You didn't reach out to her, but then too, I was thinking like, how do you, if you did reach out to her, like, what would you say? Like, I don't know. It's almost like if something happened to your family member and the police come to your door. And then too, you would have had to do it by phone. Like that would seem like insensitive to me. I don't know. Maybe that's why he did. I don't know. But I was just like, well, maybe he didn't know what to say to the lady. I don't know. Like, was it really like kind of like did was he in like defense mode, right? It was like a defense mechanism to ghost people. And then when DJ Beats kind of said, "Oh, I'm sorry for your nephew," or whatever, he's like, "Oh, forget him." Was that because? And I'm not saying this is the case, y'all. Right? I'm saying that I have seen people react like this. That it's a defense mechanism because you don't want to feel the feels, right? So it's kind of like you trying to numb the situation, you trying to disassociate from it because it hurts so bad. It is like that for some people. Now I don't know if it's like that in this situation, but it's like that for some people, that you try to remove yourself, the emotions from the situation, because you don't want to feel it. And I'm sure a lot of people have been there, right? Where you rationalize things that are happening to you because it hurts so bad, because you don't want to face reality of what has happened. If you lose someone, it's kind of like, well, they lived their life, they lived a good life, or you know what, it was their time, at least they were not suffering. That's rationalizing it. That's rationalizing it because you're not really showing or exemplifying that you are hurting, right? It's kind of like, I'm not really hurt because I know they didn't suffer. Okay, but you are still hurt. They may not have suffered, but you still hurt, and you don't know if they suffered or not. Right. So what was he putting up a defense mechanism when he was saying, "Oh, forget him, man," like trying to move on with life or something? I don't know. But then another contradiction comes into place when he told the people, and this was on the stand, when he told the people he wasn't in St. Louis, but then they got the flight information. Ah, damn. That's why your butt shouldn't have got up there. You see what I'm saying? Because now you back into narcissist mode. school, school BD1. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your professional analysis and point of view. My pleasure. This is what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So, yes. So, this is why I'm like, Tim, why did you get on the stand then? Huh? I don't. I don't get it. Why did you get on the stand? But I knew that he was, because again, and so from what Randomness Avail said, sometimes when the witnesses were up there or things were happening, they were doing sidebars, you would see Tim like shaking his head, like, or because he feeling like y'all ain't telling the right story. That's why I got to get up there, because y'all was counting on these people to tell y'all what it was, but that ain't what it was. I'm getting ready to get up here and tell you what it is. And see, he started talking. He started talking and started talking and started talking, and then he get himself in trouble because he's telling stuff that's not helping him. You see what I'm saying? Now, from the get-go, he was telling a lie based on what the public know. But again, really nobody can question it, because we really don't know. We only know what we've read, what we've heard from that show, right? So we can only speculate. Now, this is nothing just came in my head. Now, we thinking that Miss Robbie traveling on the road, doing her music and stuff like that, right? And we assumed that he was like being raised by the auntie and stuff. But on the stand, he said that his mom raised him. Now, in my mind, that is like Brandon Seville said, right? In my opinion, that is to sway the jury, like, oh, he had a great upbringing. His mom was, in the music business, but she raised him and things like this. He grew up to be a good person, rather than, oh, my auntie or my grandmother had to raise me because my mom wasn't there. People, humans in general, right? We know that if that is the case, you are more likely, not that you will, but you are more likely to get into some trouble, because of your family dynamic, right? So he didn't tell the jury that. However, we only know he was raised by the grandmother and aunties because of what we heard. We don't really know for sure. Maybe that particular narrative was painted for the show. Maybe that's part of the script. Maybe the information we have about the family dynamics is part of the script of that show, right? Because it's a reality show, right? It's script. So we don't know what's true or not for real, for real. You see what I'm saying? And along with that, we only know the picture that's painted of Andre from what we saw on the show. And I'm not saying, like I told y'all before, Andre could have been my brother. So based on what I've seen, what and stuff like that, like I just feel like I don't care. I'm not saying he wasn't doing certain things. I'm just saying that if he was, it didn't justify what happened to him. You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. But I'm also not saying that he was a saint, because ain't nobody a saint, you know. But then nobody had to do him like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's really all that is. But yeah, when he said, "Oh no," I kept saying he wasn't in St. Louis. Why were you lying at that point if you didn't have anything to do with it? Like, I feel like if you saying you didn't set it up or whatever, like you knew, in my opinion, you knew like something about it. Because and then y'all, they said allegedly that, because remember in my last video I said, Terica, where is the boutique? Right? He gave her the money to open up. Where's the boutique, Terica? But apparently Terica went to LA with her mom. She went to the what do they call, trade show or something like that, to find the clothes. And allegedly Tim said that she was rehabbing or renovating some kind of building to have the boutique in. So that goes back to my questions about Travell and Terica. Because then Terica know Andre before Tim or met them all around the same time. We don't know really what Terica's relationship with Andre was. We don't know what that was like. Like, and then y'all think about this too. I hope I can articulate this the way that I want to. So remember at the beginning of the trial, allegedly they were saying that nobody in this story knew what was happening except for, they only knew their part, right? So now that I think about it, like, is that could really be true? Because was it that like Tim and YL, they was trying to do their part of the story, or trying to, allegedly insurance fraud and trying to get these policies. YL was trying to do his own little thing of trying to get some money doing insurance fraud, $1 less and all this stuff. Tim didn't really know nothing about that. He just trying to get this one insurance policy, blah, blah, blah. And Travell and Terica had their own little thing about, or thoughts or ideas about Andre. Because what was Terica's relationship really with Andre, right? Um, and I really would want to know, what is the relationship between Travell and Andre, Like, is it more to that than what we know? Like, did they know a little bit more about each other than what has been said, um, and things like that. So, this is really, again, like today, I feel like they said either today, we had closing statements, I believe. Today, we will know, the closing statements are done, and we might have a verdict today, y'all. Like, what do y'all think the verdict is going to be? Like, after hearing everything and having more questions, do you all feel like it's going to go the other way, or do you still feel like it's still going to point to him? Y'all, I don't know. I don't know now. At first, I was like, oh no, this don't make no sense. You didn't did this and this and this. But y'all, that jewelry, and they had them questions in their head. It's like doubt. Because it's like some of the things you could say is valid. Renee, me too, me too. But some of the things you could say, when you look at it like from a juror's perspective and what their duty is, right? And you look at it and you say, well, dog, okay, he could have took it out because of this. Okay, he did get him in the music school. Okay, he did try to help him. Then on the other side, though, you say, okay, well then, but why did he lie about being in St. Louis? Right? Uh, because it seemed like that relationship he had with Terica, baby, he didn't lie about that. He wanted you to know he was messing with the dancers. But I feel like I don't know why Tim got up there though. Because then you putting on the theatrics and don't nobody got time for that. And anytime somebody does that, I don't care who you are, juror, not layman's, what person, whatever, when someone is not being genuine. People can tell that. They can see right through that. So you're doing all that crying and stuff. But one of the videos, Randy Seville, he said you could see tears, y'all. And he, maybe it's the acting or whatever, like, but that might have went over with the jurors. It might have went over. But now my thing is, if this go the other way, and I'm telling y'all, I'm with Renee, but if this goes the other way, right, right, right. But then, right, Renee, but then you gotta look at the jurors and what their perspective might be based on their demographics. You know what I'm saying? So it could be some that say they don't give a crap. Um, right. But then one of the text messages was school. One of the text messages was, I ain't seen that in a week. Okay, so so some people were saying like that text message was harsh or whatever. But y'all, you got to look at this from just a regular person's perspective. Like, because he said the N word, is that why? I ain't seen this in a week. Like that to me, that's a normal text. like, nah, I ain't seen it in a week. I've been looking for that. You know what I'm saying? Like that be sometimes our old school St. Louis dudes be talking. Like I could see, my uncle or something saying something like that in a text. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't mean like he was trying to harm him or something. But back to what Renee said, the jury, in my opinion, based on their demographic, they might not see it that way. You see what I'm saying? So that might be a text where they'll be like, oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? Like this is not right. So that's what I'm saying too. It could go either way. It could go either way. So yeah. So but then too, I was trying to think back she called him. Terica said she called Tim after she sped off and was like, what's happening or something? She said he told her leave St. Louis and don't come back. Ain't that what she said? leave St. Louis and don't come back. But Tim said something different, but I can't remember. Tim said she called him, but he didn't know that that's what happened, or she didn't mention it, or she didn't say Travell did whatever. Like that's why I'm like, what is the relationship between them, Travell and Terica? Like, do they know each other? Because I feel like it could be, like, okay, like I said, Tim and YL, they trying to get that money. They trying to get this insurance thing going, right? And then because then they said Tim had an insurance policy on Bruce. Baby, they say Mr. Bruce was clean, baby. uh on Bruce, Chloe, and somebody else. I think it was like four people. He had insurance. But again, they have to do with the business. But then my question would be, does Bruce, Chloe, and the other two or one, did they know that you was trying to get one out on them? That's my thing. Like, why are you doing all this in secret? Like, it's so many questions, y'all. Like, is it because you don't really know how business works? You know what I'm saying? Like how you should be running a business, or are you just trying to like make it work? You see what I'm saying? Because some people are just like ignorant to the fact that, right, they probably didn't know. But then too, you can look at it from a perspective of him trying to just run the business. Like, okay, yeah, I got to get this done and this done and this done. Because it seemed like to me he didn't really know what he was doing. He was just I guess trying to be successful. And probably the biggest reason that they're successful is because they got on their own show. Their own network. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, no shade or nothing like that. But I grew up in St. Louis. I was in St. Louis until I graduated, until I got my master's degree. And so that whole time, I ain't know nothing about no sweetie pies and no Florissant. Now, maybe I'm the only one, but I had never heard of no sweetie pies until they got on the owner. Where I said, well, what restaurant is this? Where they saying Florissant? I ain't never heard of that. But I mean, it's many places that I've never been in St. Louis, of course. But I mean, that was basically like my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, I never heard of that. I've never seen the restaurant. So partly probably the reason why they were so big and stuff like that is because they were on their own network. So, but when it comes to behind the scenes and running a business, did he really know how to run it efficiently, or was he just doing things to kind of get by? If that make any sense. So in trying to get those insurance policies, it's like, okay, I got to do this, make sure we protected on this. And then not that you intended not to tell them, but you just didn't tell them because you just trying to get stuff done. But that's not the right way to run it. But I mean, it just seemed like to me they needed some kind of help. And then you couple that with the fact that you traveling every week to empty the safe. Like that took me out. I said, "You doing what? Why you can't pay somebody to do that?" I know, but then too, because I've had my family has had businesses in St. Louis and stuff like that. You don't be trusting nobody. Maybe it's just my family, but my family, my auntie be like, no, I do it, but at some point you've got to let something go, because how are you trying to open up all these other restaurants, not in the same state, in different states, but you got to travel back and forth to one of the states just to empty the state? Like, you don't have no business opening up these other restaurants in different states then, especially if you can't trust somebody to handle that for you. But I felt like they did have people, because what about Bruce? What about Chloe? Why couldn't they do it? If you saying that they are instrumental to the business in that way, where you had to take out policies on them, because that means that it's going to be a huge financial loss if something happens to them. That's why you're taking out the policy as far as business sake. So why couldn't Chloe empty the safe? Um, the show elevated the restaurant, right? Like I said, and I'm not saying it wasn't popular or anything. I had just never heard of it, and my family members either. My grandma, my aunties, they like, where that's at? And these are people that, and this is just one family, of course, but these people that done grew up in St. Louis and born and raised there. So I was like, I never, heard of it. So props to Tim, because from my understanding, got them on that network, and he writing scripts. He ain't just on the show, he writing scripts. Okay, like that's huge. So he could have went on to uh create different shows, y'all. Like, look at the potential, okay? He could have created different shows. He could have taught his nephew how to write scripts. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is just a loss on every level, because I heard somebody say, I can't remember who it was, when you meet people, and I feel like I'm past that now. Let me know about y'all. I feel like I'm past that now. But a lot of people still had an idea of, trying to change other people's perspectives about Black people. And when people say his testimony was a script, probably. He probably been writing it all these years up until the trial, allegedly. um you know Trying to change the perspective, or the viewpoint that people have about Black people. And so it's like, okay, you want to do something different. So when you meet someone and they say, oh, you have a lot of money, or you drive this kind of car, what do you do for a living? And you say something like, oh, well, I'm an author, or oh, I'm a script writer. You want to And really, that's what it is, in my opinion. You trying to have them in awe, so that they can say, oh, well, all Black people are not like that. But y'all, that ain't true. Like, I stopped doing that, because I'm like, people gonna think what they think about me, whether or about my culture, or about my people. If they have that idea, they just gonna have that idea. One person not gonna stop that. One person not going to, just because I'm a script writer, or just because I'm an author and I made my coin this way, and that's not going to stop them from thinking everybody not like that. I'm sorry, that's just my opinion. So I stopped doing it, because sometimes there may be opportunities, and this is why you got to have discernment, and listen to your gut and stuff like that. There may be opportunities that might come my way, and I turn it down. And sometimes some of my friends might say, well, you want to do it because they may not give you the opportunity, but they'll see another Black person and give them the opportunity. But that may not be true. That might not even be true. So now I didn't wasted hours, time, hours and time from away from my family, to do something on the potential or the hope of getting something from someone that they might not even give it to me, but hoping that they're gonna give it to you. I can't determine that. I can't figure that out. I don't know that to be true, that that's what they're gonna do if they don't give it to me. So as sometimes too, you got to do what's best for you, and you got to be yourself. I'm not doing nothing to please nobody. I don't care what they think about me. They can think all they want to think, because they're gonna think it anyway. And when you think things that way about groups of people, that's ingrained in you. Like, you may be a little bit more understanding, you may have empathy for it, but it's still ingrained in you. You know what I'm saying? So, school, that's right. I think Tim was a dreamer about how life should be around him. Oh, that's a good one. Right. How life should be. So then, okay, so then let's paint the picture, school. See, this is why. See this why when I get over here afternoon, I'll be over for a long time. Okay, so because then I'm gonna get out of here. So then let's paint the picture, school. How should life be around him? Because he didn't told the jury that he had these burner phones for the side pieces, basically. And baby, no wonder why Janae didn't remove herself. Oh, he did her dirty. In my opinion, he did her dirty. But Again, this is why you got to listen to your gut, because she said the three questions that she asked a man when she meet them, the one of them is, do you have any feelings? The man told her, yeah. And she said, well, because I don't mess with nobody, no feelings, but you mess with him. Why? Because he had a restaurant? Because he had a little dough? Or you thought he had a little dough? Girl, you got to listen to that good. No, 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 no. That's what you said. You're not going to mess with anybody with any felonies. That's what it is. Now, if it's gonna be, it's gonna be, and it's gonna come later. It's gonna come full circle right back around. He'll find you again. Believe that. He'll find you again, but it won't be on this go round because I don't fool with that. And it could have been on a go round where now all this stuff then came out, and then you would have been for sure. That's exactly why I ain't talked to him, because I knew something went right. So the picture he trying to paint for the jury is what? He's an owner of a restaurant that has bukus of money. He drives very fancy cars. He's able to travel here, there, everywhere, whenever, however. Um, he what else? Oh yeah, he owns restaurants in different cities. He's a script writer. Um, he's close with his mother. He respects his mother. He's involved in the community. Um, this is what a high value man. This where y'all get caught up. This is scamming and duping, because from the outside looking in, that's what you can say about that man. That's what you can say. That's what you. So is that's what Jennifer saw? That's what Janae saw. Girl, again, all that glitter ain't gold, and ain't nobody perfect. Yeah, he could do all this, and it's like some people would say, you know what, Ashley, you being negative. You being negative, because this man got a lot going on for him. Now, take all of this out. If you had saw a man and found a man like that, or Ashley, you being negative, this man got a lot going on. You need to give him a chance. If some ain't right. Some ain't right. Woo, baby. What's your opinion on Miss Robinson supporting him? Renee, I feel like this. And I talked about this a little bit in my last video too. That's her son. And for me, I have a brother, and I will always get on my mom, like talk to my mom about my brother, like, mom, he got to live his own life. Mom, you shouldn't have to teach him this and this, whatever. And she told me, she said, you're not going to understand until you have a son. And I said, no, but my son, I ain't gonna be like that. My son is it, baby. Baby, bet not nobody say nothing out of turn to my son. Bet not nobody try my son. Bet not nobody just be out of, like, it's a different relationship that you have with your son. And I had a daughter too, but it's different with your son. I don't know what it is, but it's a different relationship. Now, saying that in the same vein, I'm the type of person in general, I'm gonna hold you accountable. I could love you. I could support you. I could, be by your side or whatever. But if you do something because you weren't raised that way, and you grown and you know right from wrong. So if you do something that's wrong, you know it. I have to hold you accountable as your mom. Like, okay, what decision you gonna make? Okay, what you gonna do? Because I ain't got nothing to do with that. Okay, you got to go to jail. Okay, see you when you get out. I'm not the kind of mom that get ready to post bail money, get ready, baby. Let me knock on wood, child, because we can't have this type of situation. I'm not the kind of mama that's gonna post no bail money. I'm not the kind of mama. I might not even come see you, because guess what? That's not part of my character. You see what I'm saying? And You make your own decisions as a grown person. I can't have nothing to do with that. But I'm still your mom. I'm gonna support you. I ain't gonna throw you out to the wolves. You know what I'm saying? But I can't, I'm not gonna say like it's okay. Definitely not saying it's okay what you did or that because sometimes I hear parents, a lot of times clients, I hear parents make excuses for their sons or try to rationalize what they did. Or if the son is put in jail, they'll say things like he only did this. They shouldn't be in jail that long. Like just for example, with smoking MJ or whatever, they'll say, "Oh, well, he was only smoking a little bit of MJ. They shouldn't even give him." Okay, but if it's illegal, it's illegal. Like that's the kind of person I am. But it's some moms that just feel like, oh, they ain't have to give him that much time. Well, if he did something illegal, he need to get time. Like you got to hold him accountable. It is different, but I agree. I will not support wrong. Right. That's right. If and see too, I I'm a rule follower. That's just me. I just can't be nobody but me. And my parents have always told me that, baby, if the teacher say you gotta write it this way, you best believe on that paper it's gonna be that particular way because this is how I am. But um so with my kids, like I can only I'm only really instilling in them, any parents, you are instilling in them what you know and how your until they're able to figure out on their own your morals, your values, right? That you have. Now when they grown enough, they morph into they having their own morals and values. They take a little bit of yours, a little bit from what the world and told, you know what I'm saying? And they form their own. But that's why, like you said, Renee, I don't support no wrongdoing. If them people told you not to do that, then guess what? You shouldn't have did it. And you know better than that. So now what are you going to do? Because I don't have no parts of it. Um, my Miss P, hi Miss P. My brother got in trouble with a friend that or is it MSP? I don't know. My brother got in trouble with a friend that my B mom kept telling him to leave alone. He didn't and let in jail behind said friend. He called the house. My mom got the whole story, then told him have a I don't see the rest of it. Right. But again, like you said, if because I would tell you, and when you're young, you don't realize it, but as you get older, you understand those things that your parents told you, and they start to make sense. You see what I'm saying? My mom told me I didn't. Told him, didn't I always told y'all if y'all do the crime? That's right. You do the crime, you do the time. And guess what? Mama ain't going to jail for nobody. I didn't raise no kids all the way up until 18 or 21 or whatever. After y'all gone, I'm trying to enjoy my life. I'm trying to I'm trying to enjoy my life with your daddy. Okay. We trying to go on trips. We need y'all to be self-sufficient and be a good citizen. Okay. And you teach them that from a real young age. I remember one day my daughter came home, she had like a little ring. She said, guess what? I found this or in the lunchroom or something. I said, and guess what? Mama gonna put it in a little bag because it's your first lesson. Put it in a little bag, and when you go tomorrow, you're gonna give it right back to your teacher. You're gonna say, Miss Such and Such, I found this on the ground. I believe that somebody might be looking for it because you always do the right thing. I don't care. You always do the right thing because you want to be a good citizen, right? So it don't matter what nobody else do. You know in yourself that you have done the right thing. You know what I mean? And I want my kids to learn that. So I said, and she actually I think she forgot for a couple of days. That little bag stayed in her book bag, honey. And she came home that one day. She said, Mom, guess what? I said, what? She said, I remember to give it to my teacher. I said, that's right, because what? You always do the right thing. Because if it was your ring, you want somebody to find it and you want them to put it in the lost and found. You want them to bring it back to you. And you never know when you do the right thing, good things come to you, right? So you might pop up one day and you might have the same ring, or one that you think look even better, So you have to teach them that at a young age. Real talk, for real, for real. You gotta always do the right thing no matter what, because then it sits well within yourself. And God above, right? You always do the right thing. But yeah, some of the stuff when you get older, becoming an adult, or when you young, you don't understand what your parents telling you. You like, oh, they getting on your nerves. But child, when you get older, especially when you have kids, it's like that's why they said that. I'm telling you, my mom will always tell me, okay, you'll see when you have a son. I'd be like, mm-mm. But I'm telling you, that's I don't care how old he is. That little boy could be 30 years old. I'd be like, that's my baby boy. That is my baby boy, right? But let baby boy do something that he ain't supposed to be doing. Baby boy, what you gonna do? Oh, you got I ain't got nothing to do with it. I ain't got nothing to do with that because, like I said, I'm raising you to be self-sufficient and a good citizen. So that way, when y'all on y'all own, got your own families, I can me and my husband can go and do whatever we gonna do. Cause we did I do. We get back into the groove of things, get going to travel like we used to before y'all got here and all of this mess. so yeah. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I'm like, what happened? Child, all this technical stuff. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I hope you all enjoyed this live. I'm gonna be back probably. I feel like we're gonna get the verdict today. I don't know. If so, I would do my best to come back this evening because I want to do like a recap. It might be Friday though. It might be Friday evening. But thank you to all of you who have subscribed to this channel. I'm just so appreciative of all of you. You guys just don't know. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time as a mental health professional and just to share information, and I hope that it's being, received well. And I hope you're finding value in the videos and the lives that I'm providing you. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting on? This channel is all about mental health. We let go of all that taboo stuff and the stigma related to mental health. And this is where you can get your questions answered. And if you are a person who is struggling with how to manage your mental health in the workspace, I'm the person for you. All of my information will be in the description box. Miss P, this is the last comment. Miss P, it was a petty crime. His friend stole a hat and she could have gotten him that day, but no, he never went to jail again. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, right. I mean, it's a whole bunch of examples that we could give, right? But again, I hope you all found value in this. I appreciate you all. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully we'll get our verdict today. Justice for Andre. And thank you again. And I will see you all on the next one. Bye.